Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Empire of the Sun, starring Miranda Richardson, John Malkovich, Christian Bale, Nigel Havers, Joe Pantoliano, Leslie Phillips, Masato Ibu, and Emily Richard, and directed by Steven Spielberg. And I only saw this movie once when I was a kid on VHS. I'm just going to put it out there. For those of you that know, I've been a huge admirer of Spielberg for years, and I really liked. I don't remember much about this movie, but I remember it was good and long. But let's get into it, shall we? Christian Bale, as a young boy filming this movie, has a very beautiful voice when he sings at church, and is a very good actor for a very young age kid. And he's going to be our next protagonist as Jamie, who wants to be an avianist, and he's a wonderful character to connect with. I love the setting of this movie. It has a spiritual feeling to this movie, just like the music of this movie, which is also something I absolutely love to death. This movie takes place in a war between the England and Japanese until the Japanese take over England, and that was around World War II. And it's always nice to see World War II in a child's eye until he goes through it. The Japanese taking over England are very haunting scenes, and Spielberg films them very well. Especially when Jamie lets go of his mother's hand and get to the toy plane. What's more important is your family, but there would be no movie if that happened. So I'll give it that. Jamie goes back home like his mother said so they can find him, and runs into their Japanese workers, and one of them slaps him in the face. I was like, damn, that's harsh for the workers, because they were stealing from their masters. Jamie gets chased by a Japanese boy while he tries to surrender to the Japanese, and almost gets ran over by Joe Pantoliano as Frank. And I've said before, and I'll say it again, I'm a big fan of Joey Pants, and I always enjoy seeing him on screen. Along with Frank is John Malkovich, who I didn't recognize when I was younger, and he's another actor I always enjoy seeing from time to time. Transformers 3. Jamie, Frank, and John Malkovich, I'm going to call him that throughout the movie because I don't really remember the character's name. If you want, you can comment that on the bottom. Get kidnapped and kept as prisoners. Was a very hard scene to watch, but you still care for the three of them. While we were in the camp, we get introduced to Ben Stiller offering Jamie a Hershey's bar if he had any. Now, I like Ben Stiller in a lot of comedies. He's got a great performance by Mr. Stiller. Jamie hides something outside enemy lines was an intense, but great edge of your seat scene. When the fighter planes shoot the Japanese camp was a great but intense scene for a kid to be involved in. Jamie saying he can't remember what his parents look like was very sad for a kid growing up not remembering who his parents are. Kind of depresses me a bit. I couldn't remember what my mother and father looked like, is what he said. Yeah, if I couldn't remember that, that would make me cry like a little girl. John Malkovich left with Danny, or Danny, or something like that, while he promised Jamie to help find his parents. Was a promise broken by John Malkovich, and now he's out of luck and will never see or find his parents ever again. Made me very sad because now we believe Jamie is an orphan who will never be found. Made me cry. Like, poor Jamie, come on. While they're on their way to shelter, Jamie and the British find a bunch of unique but expensive things, which I would love in that world. Was a unique scene. Lived in that world, Jamie and Mrs. Victor pretend to be dead, and that's how both Jamie and Mrs. Victor escape the Japanese, was a smart and good way to fool the enemy, and as it turns out, Mrs. Victor is actually dead. But Jamie is still alive and still ticking. It is amazing that a kid survived the desert without food or water. Jamie finds food and milk to keep him from starving to death, and suddenly finds a guy who he gave a toy plane to earlier in the film, and gives him a mango to eat, and John Malkovich shows up and kills his friend while helping Jamie eating the mango. Which, bad move on John Malkovich's part, but hey, that's his character. But admittedly, he was protecting Jamie, but Jamie decides not to go with them because they killed his Japanese friend. Was pretty sad for this movie to go that way. Jamie finds and surrenders to the British and goes with a bunch of orphan kids, please forget the fun, so parents can find their kids they've lost, and Jamie was found by his mother and father, and they all are reunited with such a powerful ending. It touched my heart. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 8.5 out of 10. Spielberg does some great, powerful moments in the film, and I cared so much for our protagonist, and Spielberg handles this story of World War II very well. And I would like to thank you guys for joining me for Empire of the Sun, and next week I will be back with Schindler's List. And be sure to subscribe and hit the like buttons, or watch some more videos and leave a positive comment in the bottom. So, and until next time, I'll see you in another World War II film.